Welcome to the St. Louis Home Chat. I'm your host, Angela Dillmon at the Dillmon Group at Keller Williams Realty Chesterfield, the #1 selling office in St. Louis. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to talk today about either no down payment or really low down payment loans that can either help you when you're first buying your home or when it's your second home. There's a new program out that helps buyers who are selling a home that maybe you just don't have any equity because you bought at the peak last time, that the market peaked in '06, and you're like, man, I'd really like to move or need to move, but I really don't have enough equity in my house to move. There's this new special program out for that. So today we're here with Glen at Cornerstone Mortgage, one of our favorite lenders, and Glen's going to help us understand some of these programs so that you can take advantage of them. Or maybe you have kids that need to take advantage of them, that they're buying their first home. Or maybe you have a friend that you know, wow, is really in a tough spot and they really need to move. Tell them about this program. So Glen, I know that MHDC, which is a state program, has this new program called Next Step. Can you give us just a little bit of information on how this program works?
Sure. The Next Step program is set up for people that aren't first-time home buyers, or maybe they are first-time home buyers. The great part about this program is the Missouri Housing Development Corporation is going to give you, I said give you, 4% of the purchase price in order to buy a house.
Wow, 4%. Do I need more than 4% down when I go to buy a house?
You don't. We have conventional programs that allow for 3% down. We have FHA programs, which is the most popular, at 3.5%. Now, if you don't have any money, what you are going to need is the seller's cooperation in picking up some of the closing costs and prepaid, which is standard for that type of sale.
Right, so the sellers can pick up the closing costs. So what we're talking about here is the down payment. So if I'm accessing a conventional loan at 3% or an FHA that only requires 3.5%, and the state's going to give me 4%, what do I do with that other percent or 0.5%?
That's going to go towards the closing costs.
All right, so that's all the less closing cost I need. So what do you mean they're going to give it to me?
They're going to give it to you in the form of a grant. As of October 1st, I think it's going to change into a silent or forgivable second. And they're going to allow you to buy this house, and the state of Missouri and the Development Corporation is going to provide you with that down payment.
Wow, that's awesome. So I just have to be in the house like 2 years, and then the loan, the second goes away. It's forgiven.
Correct.
And
now,
then when I go to sell my house, do I own anything then?
Nope, you don't own anything then. It goes away. Now, like all government programs, there are parameters and guidelines. There's some income restrictions, meaning on one half you have to make enough money to qualify for this loan. On the other side, you can't make too much money. This program isn't for wealthy people. Although they set the income limits for the first-time program for a family of 2 at $89,400, and for a family of 3 or more at $104,300.
Wow, and so that's a new thing for this Next Step. The first-time homebuyer program only allows like $74,000 if there's 2 in the family.
Right.
And maybe how much more? 85,000-ish if there's 3 or more in the family. So let's say you're a first-time homebuyer and you make more between the husband, the wife, and if, by the way, you got anybody else living in the household, they count that. So let's say my income is 76 and I'm just outside of the income limits to qualify for the first-time home buyer. Can I take advantage of this Next Step program?
Exactly. That's the program is designed for you. And also, you don't have to be a first-time home buyer. You could have sold a home. So actually, the program works for both people.
So if I am in a home now and I need to sell it, and I really don't have any equity by the time I sell it, maybe I come out with $1,000 and it's not enough to buy my next home. Can I take advantage of this program even though I own a home right now and I'm going to be closing on the home I sell and the one I buy on the same day?
Certainly, yes.
Okay.
It just has to be done on the same day. It has to be prior to. You can't have another FHA loan or another loan to qualify for this program.
Okay, so I got to get rid of the home. I can't keep the home
Right.
and then take advantage of this.
But maybe you don't have to be scared to sell it, realizing you're not going to walk away with a lot of money because this program would allow.
Because this program's available.
Right.
Wow, that is awesome. Now, is this rate set? Does MHCC set this interest rate, or do I get to go from lender to lender to figure out what my best rate is?
The rates are set by the MHDC and subject to change, although they're fairly steady. The most common place on this program, we use the FHA, and that rate today is 4.375. And like we talked, that's a little bit higher than what you could get if you did have access to some money for down payment. So typically when I talk to a borrower and we're working on the application process, we're going to look at maybe some other alternatives, some other sources for money. For some people, I've talked to them about this First Step program or the First Time Home Buyers Next Step program, and they found a relative who was willing to give them money for the down payment. They found a way to go to their 401k and borrow that money. And we started talking about this program and switched it to another one because it was better for them. But this program gets a lot of people off the fence, and it gets a lot of people interested in what the possibilities are out there.
Okay, and so are there other programs other than this one that where I don't really need any money down in order to buy a home?
The first thing I always ask people, because I'm surprised how people forget about this, is if you're a veteran. That is the best program for no money down. Serving in the military and having VA eligibility allows you to buy a house with no money down and no mortgage insurance, and the rates are as low as any of the rates we offer any other program. So VA is the number one, and I think it's a fitting way to reward those people who served in defending our country.
No doubt, no doubt.
The other program,
can't give them enough.
the other program is the USDA. So the USDA program is a no money down program set up by the Department of Agriculture, and it allows you to buy a home with no money down, reduced mortgage insurance, and I think there's a funding fee of 1% that gets added on top of the loan. You would be surprised. It goes by the rural areas defined by the population of the census tract or the voting block.
Right.
You would be surprised how many places close to the metro area qualify for the USDA. Newtown, places in Pacific, places in Eureka, Union, Washington, places around the metro area.
House Springs, maybe even.
House Springs, yeah.
Certain sections of that. So
I
pretty close.
just closed a loan with a young lady that bought a brand new house, and I want to say the sales price was around $175,000. Her payment for the first year on this USDA program was $300 a month lower than her rent.
Wow, that's amazing.
She put down $5,000 earnest money at closing. At the closing table, the title company refunded her 100% of that $5,000 back.
Wow, so you can get money back even at closing if all these costs are covered for you.
We also have the Home Ready and the Home Possible, which are Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac's reduced down payment loan. And again, those are going to be some limited to income restrictions. You don't have to be a first-time home buyer. It's a conventional loan with 3% down and a reduced mortgage insurance premium.
Wow, and I can couple those with this Next Step program if I wanted to.
You sure can.
So that with the 3% down, I get 4% from the state, use 1% for my closing costs, and then I don't need very much from the seller or to come up with out of my pocket for closing costs if I need it.
And the Home Ready and the Home Possible also allows for a greater lender contribution, meaning that the lender can help pick up some of the closing costs. I tell everybody, Angie, it's like putting a puzzle together. You've got to make sure that you're qualified for these programs. One of the traps that we fall into is we forget about some income we might have made, or our daughter who lives with us during the summer away at college made some money. That's going to count as the income. What you want to do is get with a qualified lender, sit down, put all the pieces together, and find out what program works best for you.
So not all lenders subscribe to this program. So you have to have a qualified lender. So if you're talking to a lender and he says, I don't have any idea what MHDC is, he'll probably try to steer you away from the program. So if you want somebody who has all the options available, Glen here at Cornerstone Mortgage has all the options available so that he can look at them all very optimistically, independently, and really choose one that's best for you. Whenever you go someplace where they don't have everything available, they're probably going to steer you to a program they have. So that's what we love about Glen at Cornerstone. He does it all, and he is always puts you first, which is a very important tenet here at the Dillmon Group, that we always use vendors who put you first, put your interest first. So we figure if we put you first, God will take care of us. And that's the way we go. So thank you for joining us today. I hope that you'll take advantage of these programs, take advantage of talking to Glen, and find out what program that works best for you. And hopefully that has added some value to you today and to your family. Thanks for joining us today. I'm your host, Angela Dillmon. at the Dillmon Group, where we find opportunities to help you live your dream lifestyle, build wealth, and leave legacies that matter. Join us again next week.